Hey everyone, happy Winning Wednesday. I can't believe this is our third week together already. Can you, Jeannie?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much for doing this, Sonia. This is so much fun. I welcome everyone. We're excited about this topic today.
Yeah, super pumped to be here, but I cannot believe it's just another example of how time flies and how you have to embrace every moment of life and what it is that you're doing and who you're helping, and we want to help you win. So that's what we're here to talk about every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Translate your time zone in between, but we're live all over the place. So we're live on Facebook in a couple of places. We are live in LinkedIn in a couple of places, over on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So we're kind of all over the place. So if you are here with us live, we'd love to say hello to you. And if you're watching us on StreamYard for the first time, if you would click the little link above in the post and allow StreamYard to let us know who you are, because otherwise you show up as a Facebook or a LinkedIn user. So we don't know who you are then, and we want to be able to say hello. So super excited to be with you all today. And I think this topic is going to get really juicy and is going to really help you regardless of where you are in life and what you're working on. Because part of our goal with this whole series was, yes, to focus on helping you with things in your business, but also things that you could apply to other areas of your life, whether you've got health goals, relationship goals, I mean, just anything, because these principles are not things that only apply to business. Okay, so let's dig in. We're going to talk about mastering your habits, whatever those habits are. How do you create them? What does that look like, and how do you keep them? Because I think that's like most things in life. We can start something, but how do you finish, right? Or in this case, how do you continue? Because it's not really a process of finishing anything, because one goal kind of takes you to the next. And along with that, really where this is all headed is consistency, because consistency is the only thing that will help you reach a goal, whether that is a goal in business or a goal, let's say you want to lose 20 pounds. If you're not consistent with the things that you need to do to lose the 20 pounds, it doesn't matter how great the plan is. If you don't consistently follow it, doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about consistency and what does that really mean? And, I'm not going to go into any like Webster, dictionary definition or anything like that. But essentially, it is not doing something once, not doing something twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It's getting into the routine of doing it daily so that whatever the goal is you're looking to achieve, you have the best possibility of achieving that goal. So let's dive into why that's important. And I'm going to speak a little bit about business and some things that I've encountered along the way. When I first launched my network marketing business, and actually this week I'm celebrating a big anniversary of
Yay.
15 years. So yay
Wow.
me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like I need to throw myself a party, but I don't know. We'll have a virtual podcast. But so I've learned a few things over the last 15 years. And, when I compare where I'm at now on my journey and the things that I've done to get here compared to day one when I started, or even year one when I started, I will tell you that, the skills have changed. Obviously, you develop, bigger skills as you essentially grow up in this space. But really, what's made the biggest impact, and any mentor that you would have met of mine along the way would have told you that I'm one of the most consistent people they have ever met. And that truly is, you don't need to have all of the best skills or the best tools or the best situation, the best scripts, the best anything. What you really need is consistent behavior so that you can take those things and apply them. So I can tell you, and this is, for those of you that are newer on this journey, you'll relate to this conversation. And it's just me being vulnerable and real in that when I first launched my business, I was not consistent. I would do things when it sounded good, or when we had a new product, or when I had an extra hour in my day, but it was never a big enough priority to make it something I did every day. And therefore, my business in the beginning kind of went like this.
Hmm.
And, the same thing holds true. There have been times when, I'll give you another example as it relates to health. I used to compete in fitness competitions. Now, anyone that's ever trained for a fitness competition knows the absolute dedication and consistency that goes into that. It's not showing up at the gym once in a while. It's showing up whether you slept, didn't sleep. Like, it is very regimented, routine, schedule, your food plan. I got scolded once for eating like 3 raspberries when I was training for my show because that was not on the plan. And the plan was what led me to the consistent results that I achieved when I stood on the stage. Well, the same holds true for business.
Mhm.
If you want hobby related outcomes, you're going to treat your business like a hobby. If you want a part or a full-time, not just income, but residual income, you're going to do things on a daily basis, your daily behaviors in that world of consistency to help you reach that goal, whatever that is. And as I always say, you never fully arrive, you just arrive at the next goal, the next place, the next level. And then there's always something bigger that you need to stay consistent with. So really what we're going to get into talking about today is how to create those habits in a method we call habit stacking. And you can take this little pretty formula, package it up, and apply it to any area of your life, your relationships, your health routine, your gym routine, your business, your spiritual life, your meditation, whatever that is.
Mhm.
And so, Jeannie, I know you've been reading the book. I forget the name of it, but it's kind of alongside of the book Atomic Habits. If
Yeah.
any of you have read that, that one's been out a little bit longer, but they talk about this concept of habit stacking. So I would love for you to like talk a little bit about the book and what it is that you're reading, but most of all, what you're learning and what is habit stacking.
Yeah, sure. And there's another book called The Power of Habits.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
yeah,
I
and
remember the name of it.
it goes into like what are habits? I mean, if you think about it, we do things on autopilot like a lot of the day. 40% of the time, our brain is on autopilot and we're doing things out of habit. And when you think of a habit, it's usually the cue, the routine, and then the reward. And what they talk about is if you left the beginning and the end the same, the cue and the reward, but you change the actual routine, you can then change your habits. Now, the more ingrained that is throughout time, because if you keep doing it over and over, you're just kind of reinforcing that same habit. It becomes harder to change the habit. So what then it leads into is the habit stacking, which is comes from that book Atomic Habits. And basically what that is you take a current routine and you either do something before that's new or after. So then you're building upon that. So I'll give you an example. I have several injuries, and recently I decided I was going to go back into doing strength training again. So I said, okay, how am I going to do this? Well, I have a lunch break because I work full time. I have a lunch break. I eat lunch at noon. I said, okay, I'm going to go and do weight training before I eat lunch. But then I was discovering, well, I'm too hungry. I need to go eat. So then I would eat first. And then right after my lunch, I go downstairs and I do strength training. And over time, you start to tie that in as, okay, after lunch, you do strength training. So that's a really good example of something I've done recently, but it could be anything. It could be if you want to change the way you eat, for example, you don't necessarily change that whole entire habit, right? You leave the cue the same. So if you want to, like, let's say you want to get off coffee, for example, right? Your doctor told you need to get off coffee. So
Don't
now
say that.
I know, right? How are you going to do this? Well, the cue is in the morning, you're going to get breakfast. You go to the machine. That's an automatic habit to the coffee machine. But now you're going to leave that the same, but you're going to change it maybe to decaf. But you're going to prepare yourself a cup of coffee or maybe tea or whatever it is. But you still have that cue. You're still preparing yourself something hot. And the reward is you still get a little bit of that caffeine, right? It's much lower from the decaf. and it's much lower from the tea, but you're still getting a little bit of that caffeine and that hot drink, like that instant gratification from the smell of a coffee or whatever. So that's another example. And then the third one I want to provide you has to do with business. If you find, like Sonia was talking about, consistency, that's so key. If you're finding that you're not consistent in your business, you have to kind of think about your day, right? And kind of figure out where in the day can you actually fit in 20, 30 minutes of work for your business. And then you're gonna tie it into something you currently do. So for example, I may decide that, in the mornings, I'm gonna do a live. But in order to do the live, I have to kind of tie it into something that I already do in order to create that new habit, right? And so let's say I have breakfast, and then right before I check my emails for work, I may decide that I'm going to fit in a live right there. Okay. So it's right after breakfast. It's before I log in for work for my check my emails. And I'm going to do a live for 10 minutes. And that's how you create habit. And you have to continuously do it in order for it to become a new habit. And one of the things that the book talks about with the power of habit, it says one of the biggest habits you could work on is willpower. You work on it with small things. So it could be as small as, I'm not going to have dessert at night before bed, right? And over time, you build up that willpower to where you may decide you're going to cut sugar out completely. Well, you've already worked on that willpower so much that it's easier to cut out the sugar because you develop that willpower over time. So same thing with business. You can decide that you're not going to scroll on social media for the pleasure of it, that you're actually going to go on with purpose. And the way you would do that is you're going to have some cues, like maybe put on a timer. Put a timer on for 15 minutes that you're scrolling with intention, that, you're actually pulling content off that you want to use in your business to give you ideas, right? Because otherwise you can scroll for 45, minutes to an hour and never get anything from it. And you've wasted time instead of working your business. So that's another way of, like, you're building that willpower of not using social media for pleasure, but more for work and being more intentional by, again, habit stacking. So, for example, I'll give you another example. If you were, let's say, you have it in order, like after I comment back on my posts, I'm going to go onto Reels and I'm going to look at, 5 Reels for some ideas. Okay, so you're being very specific, but it's also a habit that's stacked into another habit already, if that makes sense.
Totally. And so basically, I don't know why I was having this visual the whole time of, like, you're building layers of a sandwich. And so you've got the 2 pieces of bread that are going to be there, right? And I don't even eat bread, so this is a bad example, but it's something that people can relate to. So you have the 2 pieces of bread that are going to be there regardless, right? The things that you do on a regular basis. Now, what you're going to do is stack the different layers of the sandwich, and maybe that sandwich initially is only 2 pieces of bread and a piece of turkey, but then you want to add a piece of cheese. So you're going to take the same sandwich and you're going to put the cheese on top of the turkey.
Yeah.
Only a dietitian would have to think of a food example, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, this is pretty good. Well, that dietitian said I needed more veggies in my life, so I'm going to stack some lettuce on top of the cheese that's on top of the turkey. So I think you get where we're going with this. And, I think, and I'm going to take this example and move it away from health and food for just a second and say that truly you need, and I heard this quote today I was listening to a Facebook Live and somebody talked about this, that truly to be successful in this business, in this state of the world today, you need willpower and you need Wi-Fi. And it really is true. Okay. So willpower is the consistent behavior every day. And so you need willpower to essentially get out of your own way, because this is where people's self-limiting beliefs creep in. And they're like, oh, well, I just don't feel like it today, so I'm going to watch Netflix instead of working my business in this hour that I typically work my business. And so depending on which voice in your head is stronger, you may run for the Netflix or you may actually talk yourself out of it, right? So as you become better, as you grow in this profession, the things that are, I mean, you'll always have those monsters chirping in your ear telling you not to do something. You just get much better at treating those little devilish conversations, making them very short-lived and being able to release them, right? And so getting back to business, it's really that when you launch a business for the first time, especially if you've never been in network marketing or you've never had success in network marketing, I mean, it's a business that's simple enough for everyone to do, but there's oftentimes a misunderstanding between simple and easy. Simple means that you don't have to, have a lot of overhead. You don't have to have any special talents. There's a lot of things you don't need to have. Easy means it's just gonna, you sign up and then all of a sudden you're making money. This is not easy. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And so when you're able to use this habit stacking to build the layers of your business like the sandwich, so maybe you start off just by making a Facebook post every day and you get really good at that. And then pretty soon that's routine. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I can expand my wings a little and I could do a Facebook reel. But in order to do the Facebook reel, I have to do a little research on what does that even look like? So I know I dedicated time to do my post. So now I'm going to do a little research right after that post to learn about the Facebook reel. And then as soon as I'm ready, I'm going to start implementing those behaviors to create the Facebook reel, right? So it's really like stair stepping. And I mean, you can twist this and turn this any way, but there's so many ways that you can string behaviors together. And when you string them long enough and you create a consistent string, that's when you create success.
Yeah.
It's really a beautiful thing. And Jeannie, I've watched you just so for those of you guys that don't know, Jeannie and I have worked together for about 4 years now. And when she first started, she was like, okay, I'm ex-military. So I'm really driven and tell me what to do and I'll do it, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And now she's like a totally different person. But the only reason she is the way she is today is because she had the commitment, she stayed consistent, and she strung together a bunch of habits. And she is a really cute dog named Luna.
Sorry.
Hi, Luna. Mine's too big to put on my lap. She's taking a nap in the other room. But I mean, right, Jeannie? I mean, share a little bit about what you've gone through to get to this place where you can now stack these habits.
Yeah, I just think it's really important. One of the things that I would say that I got from the military that really has helped me so much is that discipline. I mean, you have discipline, you can do anything really. It's really just making sure that's something that you want to do. And then that's all there is. I think discipline is the number one thing. It helps to create that consistency. It's all part of that whole deal. If you're not showing up on a regular basis, then you're not going to build that know, like, and trust with your audience. And it takes time to build that. And I started out with less than 100 friends on Facebook. I was almost never on social media. And I went from that to being on social media every single day. So huge change. But, you have to look at it as, is this something you really want to do? And if you do, then you've got to go all in. You can't have one foot in and one foot out. It's just not going to work. And for those who haven't had success, you want to look at why. Is it because you weren't showing up on a regular basis consistently? And that's probably usually the answer.
And it's so true. And sometimes the perception is that, so somebody says, well, I have a full-time job, I have a family, and that's your life, right? And I'm only doing this part-time. Well, you still need to be consistent with your part-time. So it does not matter what the magic number of hours you're doing something is. or in regards to your health, it does not matter, that you want to lose 20 pounds, and however fast or slow you do it doesn't matter. It's whatever those habits you create along the way, the goals that you set for yourself along the way, it's being consistent with those things. And then eventually your sandwich gets like, I mean, it's the most rockin' sandwich you could ever eat because it's full of
Yeah.
really good stuff, but it didn't get that way right out of the gates. It was things
No.
that you relentlessly showed up day after day doing and built those
Mhm.
consistent habits. And once you do that, this is the part I think that is so cool. Once you develop that personality where you're like, just give me the plan, like tell me what to do. Like I have mentors that I've said along the way, like literally, if you tell me to go do a headstand and that's going to help me grow my business, I'll go do the headstand, right?
Right.
Because I just have that relentless determination. And that was not born overnight. That was
Mhm.
born through consistency, but also having that willpower and deep
Mhm.
desire to do what I do, to help who I help. And all of that comes back to having a consistent why. Why are you doing
Yeah.
this? Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Is it just to buy a pair of jeans? Or is there a bigger rooted reason behind it? And I think that that ties this all together. And,
Mhm.
habits are something that are not created overnight. But once you create them, you just continue to layer them on. And pretty soon, this stuff that you do is just your routine. It is just the
Yeah.
way it is. It's your day, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I look at it like this, um, you have to find your why, and then you have to create that routine. And just remember that it's showing up even when you don't want to.
Mhm.
Showing up when you're tired, showing up when you're having a bad day. It's just showing up every single day, no matter what. I mean, that's the bottom line. And look at the other parts of your life where you automatically show up. If you work full time, you go to work every single day, even on the days that you don't want to. So, you have to look at it like I kind of treat it like a job because, even though it's not and you can do it as a hobby, if you think of it as a job, you think of, I have to show up at this specific time, I'm ending at this specific time. I think I don't know, it just makes it makes it feel more like a job. Or you're more disciplined if you feel like it's a job, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, people think of it as a hobby because they're like, it's not my part-time job, it's just something I'm trying to do on the side. But if you look at it as, I need to show up at this time, I need to show up to do this, to do my lives, to post, then if you treat it like a job, sometimes you can have better results.
100%. And as somebody that does this full time, I tell this to my team all the time. The very first day that I went from being part time in this business and working a full time job to being full time, I sat and I stared at the wall for the whole day. This is no lie, because I had no idea how to do this like I had my whole day. What was I going to do? I mean, it sounds crazy and it sounds silly, but I was so used to maneuvering my day around and inserting my business wherever I could. And all of a sudden, I had no other job. And I was like, how do I do this? So I got over it, right? And it's
Yeah.
exactly what you said. You treat it, you schedule, you become consistent with that schedule, you stay dedicated to that schedule. And when you do that, that's when the beautiful things happen. So I absolutely love
Mhm.
this topic. I think we could go on for like days because it's so relevant to every part of your life. So
Yeah.
anything else you wanted to add, Jeannie, before we close up for the day?
No, I mean, I think you just have to look at everything in your life. Everything's tied together. Your health and wellness, those goals you have there, your personal life, family, your business, all of that ties together. So, I remember you said something, Sonia, that I really loved. I think it was last week. You said something about when one part, you look at it as a pie. When one part is suffering, look at your strengths, in the other areas of your life, to keep you moving forward. I really love that.
And I think that's a perfect way to land the plane because
Mhm.
we oftentimes in today's world focus on, we're told okay, these are the 3 things you do well, but this is what you need to do better. And where does our brain go? Automatically to the what we need to do better, right?
Mhm.
So then we're like spending all this time, and I'm not saying don't improve your skill set because you always should do that. But if you spend all of your time over there, these things that you're really good at, they start to like lessen and you're not
Mhm.
really good at them anymore.
Yeah.
So how does that apply to this? Perfect example, and I think we'll talk about this maybe a little bit more next week, is all of these social media platforms.
Mhm.
It is very challenging, even as somebody that does this full time, to say like I'm going to be here, 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 here. Do you remember when it used to be Facebook and Instagram, and then there was LinkedIn and oh yeah, Twitter? Who can forget Twitter? And then I feel like now it's just multiplying like rabbits. And
Right.
so
That's
it's
great.
very easy to want to be all the places, but then you lose that consistency. And so
Mhm.
you think because somebody else is saying you're not really as good at this yet or work on this, that you should let go of what you're really good at,
Mhm.
pour into what you're really good at while
Yeah.
nurturing what needs a little bit of work.
Love it.
And that's where we're going to land this plane for the week. We'll see you
Yeah.
guys next week. If you found value in this information, go ahead and share the video because our goal here is just to help you win in life, whatever that
Mhm.
is. And if we can help somebody that's not on this video today, we'd love to help them too. So thanks for being with us here today. We'll see you guys next
Bye.
week. Bye,
See
everyone.
ya. Bye.